Hello, everybody out there in YouTube land. Welcome, astrology friends and family. Welcome to August. Eclipse activity starts now, and also we are in the thick of Mercury retrograde shenanigans as my neighbor's mowing his lawn. Maybe I can edit this out later. Anyway, we're just going to go with it. Yeah, so we're dealing with a lot of planets in retrograde. The outer planets are in retrograde. We have Saturn, Pluto, Uranus will start to retrograde in September. Mercury will be retrograding August 4th, and we won't clear shadow period until somewhere near the mid of September. Also, we'll be getting into the Chiron retrograde soon as well, too. Okay, so let's try and have fun while we can. Leo season, the next few weeks are the time to really keep enjoying, especially with everything slowing down. Vacation when and where we can, time spent with children, having fun, theater, outdoor theater, concerts, putting yourself out there, leadership in the community. Don't be afraid to take those chances, put yourself out there, put your work out there, your creativity. Now's the time with all this goodness in Leo. Love Leo season. I'm an Aquarius rising, so naturally I'm always, loving all things Leo. They're my other end of the spectrum there. Okay, let's get into the eclipses because you will start to be feeling some of this eclipse activity. Now the eclipse will happen in September, but as you may already be aware, the feelings and rumblings of eclipse activity can start happening about a month before, and then it usually kicks off a new 6-month cycle until you have the eclipse in the opposite sign. What we're going to be experiencing is kind of the fading out of the Aries Libra eclipses. The last Libra eclipse will be in September, and the last Aries eclipse will be next March 2025. So we still have, several months to work on those themes of that axis if things haven't been accomplished yet in those areas. We also have Chiron still in Aries as well. Okay, so on September 17th, 2024, we're going to have a full moon partial lunar eclipse in Pisces at, let me check, 25 degrees. And this will be affecting those born with Pisces or Virgo placements anywhere from 21 to 29 degrees and 0 to 1 degrees of the cardinal signs, which are Cancer, Capricorn, mom and dad, Aries the warrior, and Libra the lover. All right, the eclipse will start to highlight all the things that are Pisces, Virgo, prior to the nodes shifting into those signs by next spring. We will have the nodes of fate and one last set of eclipses wrapping up, like I mentioned, on the Aries, Libra axis for the next 6 months. Okay, so knowing that, this activity can be felt now, I just kind of wanted to talk about that, especially with everything, so many planets being retrograde. Yeah, okay, so in the Pisces area of our charts is where we are going to see some of this activity. After having so much Aries self-directed energy over the past year, pushing us to take initiative and propelling us forward in that Aries part of our sky, and also healing a wound since Chiron has been there. We could have started to be aware of that and started working on that in the past year or so. And like I said, if you haven't done so yet or initiated something of great importance to you yet, don't worry. There are still several months left of this Aries Libra story, especially with Chiron and then also, the nodes of fate and the eclipses happening there as well. So what does this mean? So we will now be taking in and further integrating, the healing process, especially with Pisces and Neptune coming into the picture, forcing us to kind of slow down and integrate those changes that have been coming in internally or externally, slowly or rapidly over the past year. Rahu, the North Node, can speed things up. If you started your own business, for example, that would be like a very self-initiated Aries type of thing. Now and in the next year and a half, you could be developing like a sacred space in your home or devoting a special space to work in that, you can paint and decorate, plants, Doesn't have to be just for business either. It could be a sacred space you use just as your own, like getaway, quiet time to meditate, rest, writing, creativity, listen to music, to I don't care if you just go there to daydream. It will be a really great thing to do. All right, and though, although with Saturn here in Pisces until 2026, he's structuring those dreams to help you make them come true. So any kind of like blockages you feel that you may come up against with Saturn there in Pisces, it's only to slow you down to make sure that the things that you're putting into place are solid and stable and can withstand the test of time. That's what Saturn likes anyway. The other end of this axis is Virgo, and Virgo will help you. Virgo will help you organize yourself to make those Pisces creative dreams come true. You know, you can pull your projects out of the ethers and put them onto paper, to film, to clay, to actual music, to whatever it is that is your creative inspiration or muse. Lunar eclipses also can be a very emotional time. They can trigger relationship endings or breakthroughs, and even good breakthroughs can be emotional. I feel this time and over the next year and a half, we can really find our way through that Aries wound that we've had, or maybe we didn't even realize that we had it. For example, like maybe you, Chiron in Aries has been transiting through your second house of self-worth and your face and your earnings, your bank account, what you put into your mouth, and maybe you realize you didn't know that you had a bad habit relating to food, and it's kind of come up to be looked at over the past year or so. Maybe you have an allergy that you found out you had and you didn't know it based on what you were eating, and now you have this time to kind of start integrating those changes. Pisces is very healing, heal your body or whatever might have ailed you. So we could really maybe start to make progress in standing up for ourselves as well. Aries is a warrior. Is not afraid of standing up for himself, herself. We can also have been learning how to not be codependent, and maybe we're starting to make our own money instead of depending on another. Maybe we're healing long-standing relationship issues or issues about self-worth, your body, your identity. These types of healing changes can be very emotional and even in a good way. And if you haven't, like I mentioned, seen these changes yet, not to worry. We still have several months left with the nodes of fate, Chiron, and the eclipses here to help you quickly make changes for the better in the Aries Libra part of your sky. Kind of a grand finale next March 2025. This Pisces eclipse is the first in the cycle, and it's possibly just highlighting or giving that first little nudge of awareness or discontent around emotions, spirituality, relationships, as full moons and lunar eclipses can relate to relationships, your home, your family, motherhood, mothering, as the moon rules Cancer. And anytime you have lunar eclipses, you always kind of look to the Cancer part of your sky and see how that area is being triggered at that time as well. Crisis can happen as we are made aware of imbalances in these areas as well. Some relationships can end for new ones to begin if there's been trouble in those areas. And on the other side, if there have been problems that are being brought to light at the time of this full moon, there may be a path forward to find some healing, and maybe you can grow and progress together if that is something that you're in a relationship and you would want to work on. There can also be fulfillment of creative projects or drama at the time of the full moon, especially with it being the first in this new eclipse cycle. You can also get sudden dreams, downloads, or inspirations about creative projects, music, acting, film, etc. How to help maybe marginalized peoples, issues with the ocean, or maybe you want to start a nonprofit or become part of a nonprofit that helps ocean animals or comes up with fishing net solutions or oil spills. And really interesting note on that, just to kind of show you how the stuff is already starting to come into play, is I went to go get my hair trimmed the other day, and what I found out was kind of cool is that they charge an extra $2, a $2 fee when you're getting your hair, cut colored, whatever. And what they do is they use the clippings from the salon to make these hair mats that then are used to soak up oil spills in the ocean. And they're really effective at it as well. They just kind of, and there's a video you can watch online where you can see that, there's the oil spill, which is horrible. And they put these like hair mats in and it just kind of sucks it up. So already we're going to start seeing these types of things come to the forefront, which I'm really excited about because who doesn't love the ocean, right? Know that if you do come up with or receive, inspiration downloads, that you should act on them not at the time of the full moon, but act on them as in like writing them down. Keep a pen or your tablet or whatever it is you use to write on at the ready starting now. Know that these will be divinely guided, divine downloads. I don't think there'll be anything coincidental about this. Also, with this being the Pisces Virgo axis, and Virgo rules health and organization and service, work, pets, we could have health challenges that might come up to the surface at this time to be healed, or we could have endings to jobs that no longer serve our well-being, with new paths being illuminated to more fulfilling work, or spiritual paths might come through. Maybe you find a need in your community and you decide, you know what, I'm done with administrative work and I want to create my own or nonprofit or become a founder of my own nonprofit and helping children in my community who suffer from, not having enough to eat or clothing or school supplies. And you can start a small movement there, and that would be a really beautiful thing to do. So, just an idea. Okay. Also, what are some other things that could happen? This is also the other end, because we're talking about the 6th house and the 12th house axis. 6th house also represents small pets, and that's in the Virgo house. A pet can have issues or pass at this time if they've been struggling with health issues, but also a new one can come in. New fated pet, and fears and addictions can come up at this time as well. 12th house does represent addictions, and we can find ways to heal our mind, especially with Virgo at the opposite end. We can look for and find a great and destined healer at this time. The Virgo axis can also help you get organized and clean up that area of your life if you are suffering from addictions or bad health habits, and get yourself pulled together, especially if you were in your head too much, or also if you've been unable to pull your dreams, out of the ethers or from your Neptune haze. Those ideas and dreams can get lost up there. And Virgo's really good at solidifying things and making it happen. Excuse me. Let's see. Sometimes Virgo does strive for perfection and it can hamper our creativity. So we'll be working on trying to strike that balance, right, of the creativity and the day-to-day work, and trying to balance the two. At this time, you can, and especially now, right in August, we can start meditating. Anything with like water therapy would be good. Prayer, if you pray, and it doesn't have to be religion, it could be whatever God you pray to. Epsom salts, you could clean up your auric field leading up to this full moon. I always suggest safest bet is nature, rest, sleep. I always try to aim for like 7 or 8 hours, and it's almost always a win, especially preparing for those jitters that you can start to get during eclipse activation periods. Having magnesium to root yourself down a little bit and to kind of root down and anchor your nervous system. Magnesium rich foods like black beans and sweet potato and stuff like that. But always check with your doctor or your dietitian if you have any kind of health issues, or if you're unsure if you can eat those types of things. You can also make little simple changes to your diet, like more water, fresh fruits, chemical free food, vegetables. Try to do like a no alcohol. I know that might be hard for some, in these last beautiful weeks of summer that we'll be having. It's hard at barbecue or hanging out at the beach with friends, but maybe you can make a mocktail, something like that. Start working on a creative project. That's another great way to use this energy. Jot down those major insights that can happen now. And this is also a really kind of interesting period where loved ones who have crossed over may start to appear or send messages to you in odd ways as the veil begins to thin. These are just some of the ideas that I'm giving you, and I will describe what the beginning of this new cycle means for each of you in all of the 12 signs, and I will also probably talk more in depth about it the closer we get to the eclipse and, as we proceed with this, the shifts of the nodes and everything else. So, yeah, all right, well, let's get started.
Hello, Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. The Pisces eclipse will be happening in your house of the other, the 7th house of partners. This can also be adversaries, business partnerships, contracts, marriage partners. And over the next year and a half, these areas will come into strong focus, and you could start to feel the rumblings of that now. You could have had something come to culmination in partnership at this time. This will be around in September, around a love partner, or it could be starting to brew now. A significant partnership in business or in love can end to make room for a new and more fated partner to come in. The eclipse can also bring a culmination, maybe not for you, but maybe for your partner, either in love or business, and that they could possibly be going through something and it directly affects you. If it is a letting go, know that it was meant to be. When eclipses close the door, it is meant to be permanent. And although it can be painful, just know that it is paving the way for someone new and fated to enter your life. This can also be a divinely guided partner who will come in, starting with this eclipse series in September, as Neptune will conjunct this eclipse, possibly even bringing someone from a past life. And they may come in a very sudden or surprising way, with Uranus sextiling this eclipse. On August 4th, the new moon in Leo at 12 degrees will happen in your 12th house, a faraway land, past lives, foreign shores, hospitals, sanctuaries, ashrams. Also represents foreign money, like PayPal, what else? Deep subconscious behaviors, self-undoing behavior. The sun is also here, and Venus is getting ready to leave. The sun will be here in Leo until the 22nd, lighting up all of these topics, maybe illuminating new beginnings around self-undoing behaviors and kicking a bad habit. Or on the positive end, with Mercury having been here, you could have been focused on getting rid of mental stress, undergo mental or emotional cleansing. It could be a time where you are isolating and seeking rest, or talking about 12th house topics and buried issues, as Mercury is in your first house but retrograding back to the 12th by mid-August. Let's see, what else? Sorry about that. But, all these planets will start to come out of the 12th house and start to enter your first. And that will start to make you feel more vibrant and energetic and happy to see all these things leave the 12th house. You could also be traveling as well to somewhere far away over the next few weeks, or be working on a project that helps people somehow. As the 12th house can rule charity, and in Leo, it could be something for children. Jupiter is in Gemini in your 10th house, along with Mars, and it's making a sextile to this new moon. So I really think children could be a part of the topic, as Gemini and Jupiter can represent children as well, but in a positive way. So maybe you're working on a project behind the scenes that will become a career in the 10th house, or you will receive recognition for something you've been working on behind the scenes in the past. On August 5th, Venus moves into your first house until August 29th, making you look good, feel good, giving you positive attention. Maybe you were doing behind the scenes work on yourself, and it's ta-da, you're looking really good right now, making you more charming and possibly drawing like admirers, love and money to you. This can definitely happen over the next few weeks, because you're going to have a stellium here in your first house. You could be changing your wardrobe, your hair, your makeup style, to emphasize your looks or just represent a new and refreshed you. And you could just be taking better care of yourself starting now. On August 7th, Venus will conjunct Mercury at 3 degrees in your first house, and can be felt from August 5th to August 10th for early degree Virgos, 0 to 8 degrees. You could be more compelling and persuasive in your communications, your speech, possibly high visibility in the 10th house of reputation, as Jupiter and Mars are up here in Gemini, and Gemini is ruled by Mercury. Mercury also rules you. So it's kind of like a direct link from your first house up to the 10th of career and reputation and how you're seen in the world. You could be looking good, feeling good. Positive news around earnings and communication can happen around these days as well. Also for old projects, because we are in the Mercury retrograde, these would be mercurial projects, written, verbal, podcasts, things like that. Success based on creativity can happen. And last but not least, you can draw love and money to you at this time as well, although I think I already mentioned that. The full moon in Aquarius on 27 degrees is just going to be a difficult full moon. It's happening in your 6th house of health, your day-to-day work, health habits, small pets. This could be a great time to eliminate a bad habit, to work with this energy in a positive way, and also know that it would be affecting late degree Virgos, anywhere from like 22 degrees and up, or if you have Aquarius placements around those degrees. But you can use this to work with eliminating a bad health habit, especially if you have a health issue that comes up, at this full moon. You could also be finalizing like work around a group project, a humanitarian group project could be wrapping up, or you could be letting go of an old job and group of people, or old bad habits related to health, like maybe you've had too much alcohol this summer or gluten, maybe you have a vaping addiction. A pet's health can come into focus at this time and be highlighted. The ruler of this full moon is Uranus, and Uranus is up in your 9th house of Taurus, making a difficult aspect, along with Neptune and Pluto. This could be the realization that more training or work or skill is needed to accomplish topics related also to the 9th house, because this is connected to the 9th house. 9th house is God, spirituality, your higher mind, higher thinking, self-beliefs, publishing, law, contracts, foreigners, foreign travel. It could be like not great news, but know that Neptune will be clouding this full moon. So what comes in may not be the true picture. It may not be very clear. There can definitely be misunderstandings or unclear information that comes through this time around sixth house topics and 9th house topics, especially because Mercury is retrograde. You may need to rework something that you've been working on in day-to-day life, be it health or projects. Maybe you're trying to attain a contract or publishing, and you could be feeling low, finding out that information comes to light that the contract wasn't accepted, or there's more work that needs to be done. There could just be difficulty with progress you're trying to make. Just know that the moon moves very quickly. This aspect will pass and solutions will start to show themselves. On August 22nd, the moon moves into your sign where Venus already is for a few more days, and where Mercury will revisit. With all of this good first house activity, you could be feeling better and focusing on yourself for the next few weeks, especially after that full moon. You could be getting noticed more, looking better, possibly changing up your clothes, your hairstyle, receiving compliments, love, flirtations, recognition for work you've done in the past. It is a time to put yourself out there and maybe be on the move for vacation or just traveling for pleasure in general. You could have had some new beginnings or wanting to start some things now. Just know, don't sign any contracts. Wait till September. Mercury retrograde shadow passes by about September 12th. And you could just be feeling like more confident about putting yourself out there now, and you should. On August 27th, Uranus and Taurus in your 9th house of higher mind will beam over to Venus in your 1st house at 27 degrees. And this would be most influential for Virgos around 22 degrees and up. And it can look like, surprise, your book or writing or speaking project suddenly gains public recognition. Maybe it's a podcast, suddenly you're in the spotlight, but this would be in a sudden, happy, positive way. You could land a publishing contract and possibly a lucrative one. There can be an opening of your mindset as well, or like sudden self-awareness in a positive way, leading you to new opportunities or experiences or adventures, as the 9th house can represent travel. You can meet new people from foreign places, or other people you meet can help you leave old ways of being behind. You could, last but not least, meet a sudden, new, exciting love while traveling, outdoors, online, I say because you're ruled by Mercury. maybe educational settings, or even an old love can come back from the past. Take care, Virgo, and we'll see you in September.